Okay, so in this massage we're going to cover how to do a base massage treatment in my training program. You can learn how to cover the body from head to toe with the base techniques, and what they are is learning to use your body weight properly, posturing yourself so that you can transfer your body weight into your strokes to make them feel stronger and make it feel like to your patient that every stroke has a purpose and really counts. So, it's not going to necessarily be deep tissue massage, it's not going to be soft massage, it's really going to be how to do quite repetitive strokes with dropping your body weight, how to do a really nice rhythmical, hypnotic type of massage with the outcome of covering every part of the body. We're going to be relating to the anatomy trains a little bit in this level, how to help you get around the body and connect the body so that you're understanding that the foot is just as important to get tension in the leg out as the hammy and the calf muscle, and that these are connected in the superficial back line and can help get tension out of the back. So, we're going to be covering quite a bit, so it's not basic, but it is my base level. But then at the same time, this is the massage that you can always fall back on. It feels beautiful. It's not uncomfortable, where a lot of massages that a lot of people want these days are those uncomfortable deep tissue ones. This one's going to be more of one that can kind of satisfy the person who likes a soft massage. It can satisfy the person who likes a deep massage, because you're going to be learning how to use your body weight with every stroke. I'm not going to teach you guys in this one so much about holding techniques. We might do some holding or trigger point style sort of stuff in the buttocks around in this video, but it's going to be more to try and get you guys hypnotically moving repetitively. So just keep moving, incorporating a patient's breath, incorporating your breath, leaning your body weight on the table, on the patient and making this feel like a really present massage, that you're really present and you're really engaged, that every stroke, like I said before, has a purpose. So I'll get straight into it. So first of all, what I do is get a bit of a feel of what my patient's body feels like before I start. And this is great for people learning how to massage, or learning how to massage the way I teach, is that I want you guys to be developing your skills so you can get super comfortable and super aware of how the patient's body is changing in response to your treatment. So you want to know, halfway through the massage or halfway through the back, or even 5 minutes into rubbing the back, how it may have affected everything. Because let's say that you find a leg length discrepancy right now, and you're massaging the back, and then you come down to the feet afterwards, and you see the leg length is, even, balanced. Then, it's like, wow, I just massaged the back and I balance out the legs. This can happen all the time. So just take this time at the beginning. You might to look at all sorts of different things. I won't get too much into assessment right now. Just have a look around, feel the body. You might look to see if the shoulders are uneven or anything like that. You might look down at the buttocks to see if one buttock's higher or lower. You could check the hips to see how they are. Often you'll see, like we've got Lero here on the table today, and his right hip is up a little bit here. It's like about a centimetre higher than the left hip. Quickly just to check that out. I'll just have a look at his leg length, and I'm just going to lift his legs off the table to make sure that his quads are evenly placed on the table. So yeah, there's a little bit of a leg length discrepancy here. The right leg's a little bit longer. So that's one thing I'll look at. I'm also going to feel for tension. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm sticking to the skin, and I'm moving the skin more than you'll probably see some certain people poking around, or have had massages where they're poking around into trigger points, which can be quite uncomfortable. It's a great way to assess sometimes. I don't do that so much. I more wiggle the skin, and that way you can kind of feel how so many different layers of tissue are moving. So Lero feels quite hydrated. You've been drinking a bit of water?
Yep.
Yeah? Often you can feel the skin being quite sticky on people, and because I've treated Lero in the past, I know what he feels like. Even though it was a year ago since I treated him, he feels really different than he did that time. So you've been looking after yourself lately, hey? Feeling the IT bands. The left feels a bit tighter to me. Again, don't worry if you can't feel anything. A lot of my students, even when they get really good at massaging, some just are not yet confident and comfortable with feeling the tension like I can. Don't worry, just keep going. It'll all come together one day. The other reason I do this is because I like to make my patients aware that they've got a body before they even start getting a back rub. Often when you get a massage, you get a back rub for the first 20 minutes, half an hour. And a lot of people might never touch your feet in a massage. And I like to very quickly make people aware of their whole body. Touching the feet is very grounding. So here I'm, already drawing his energy down to his feet. In a Thai massage, a traditional Thai massage, they start the massage on the feet because it's the most distant part of the body from the head, with the aim to draw the energy out of the head down the body. Makes sense. So with draping, when you drape a patient, drape it quickly, do wiggling, jerking movements as opposed to soft, tender movements around that area, and that way no one will feel uncomfortable with what you're doing, and it will never be awkward if you do it quickly and jerky like that. So I just got the oil from a rice cooker that I've got over there, which keeps my oil warm. And so I'm going to start with applying this oil. And already you can see how I'm using my body weight pretty much right at the beginning, even just to apply the oil. As opposed to something like this sort of thing, which a lot of people do. There's nothing wrong with that, right? But from the beginning, I'll get the oil and I'll apply it. And my body weight's going into my strokes already. I like to use a lot of oil. As you can see, I'm going back now for the fourth lot. If you can't see it here, but there's maybe like a teaspoon worth in every time I apply some there, so I don't get too much. You can always add more. Okay, so now that the oil's applied, I'm going to start rubbing, and I'm working on the side of the body that I'm standing on generally. Here you can see I'm leaning. I'm leaning my hips and legs on the massage table. That's taking a lot of my weight, so I can actually lean pretty much most of my body weight in some way, shape or form, either on the table or onto Lero's back here. Another way that it might work, that I might do it sometimes, I'm off the table completely, but I'm using my body weight. That's the first thing. I'm starting very low. The sacrum's down here. Here are the hips. And I'm starting nice and low with my stroke and incorporating the lower back into that stroke and taking it all the way up erector spinae, up over the upper traps. And then sometimes I might take it and stop there and pull back down on the traps. Other times I might go all the way over the traps and drag it out over the shoulder and then come back down here. What you want to try and do is make all of your strokes with your body weight, as in, what I'm trying to say here is the stroke itself, the power stroke, is coming from your body weight. When you come back here, when you're pulling your hand back to this point, don't use strength. Don't try and make this a stroke. It's quite difficult to, sometimes I might do this, okay? Don't do this initially. You're going to be wasting energy until you get really comfortable with then using your body weight again to make this a powerful stroke. Save your energy for now. Generally, 90% of the time, you want to be leaning your body weight. That's the stroke. That's the the money. And then you're coming back here to that original point without any effort. You're just dragging your hand back. It's nice. It's comfortable. And then you're dropping your body back down and leaning on that stroke and then coming back to the beginning. And then within that, you can use all kinds of different tools. So you can see me swapping from using my hands like that. I might use the palms of both hands like this. I might use a fist. We're staying away from the spinous process. Even though I'm using the fist here, try not to rub any of your bones, whether it's your elbow, whether it's your knuckles, onto the spinous process, which is the bony part of the vertebra here that stick up. Right, so stay away from those. Stay away from all the bones, so try to avoid being bone on bone as much as you can. And then just rinse and repeat. Right? Again, so think about this almost like you're, how you could think about it is like you're trying to clean his back. Imagine like you're doing some washing on a washing board or something. Right? Like you're really trying to scrub. You're not trying to make it uncomfortable and painful, but you're really trying to put in quite a bit of strength. And you're not using your physical strength. So I'm going to show you guys how this might look if you're purely trying to use physical strength. Right, so you're here and then you're trying to use physical strength and push your arms forward. Your hips are staying here and some people rub like this. Uses a heck of a lot of strength. And then if you think about when I'm up here, for me to get the same amount of strength as here is going to compromise my body. I could hurt myself. When you go here and your center of gravity is always over the top of this, the point you're rubbing, completely different. No energy. You can literally just lean your body into your patient and walk your way up and do a more effective stroke than if you're standing still and trying to do this sort of stuff. Unless you've got an extremely focused core, extremely good and strong core, this will be a very silly thing to do, in my opinion. So, get comfortable moving, guys. So that's step one. Nice big strokes. Changing it up along the erector spinae. I'm going to go to the other side to do the other side of his back. And here you might get another idea of how you can see my posture. transferring from your left leg in this situation, and you're really transferring over to that right leg. See how much distance my body is covering. If I do it without my hands, I'll do it from this side just so you can make sure that I'm in proper view, is it's like this. Your hands are out here, you're kind of doing this. Alright, looks kind of weird, but whatever. You know, you're really doing a lot of moving, not this. Deep breath, mate. So the pressure I'm putting on Lee here now is enough pressure to push his air out. But because I'm using such a large surface area, like the whole palm of my hand, it's not uncomfortable, it's not sharp, even though I can feel a lot of trigger points, active trigger points and tension underneath my palm. I'm not making it feel too sore right now in that regard, but I'm putting a lot of my body weight to push his air out, get him really getting the oxygen in, carbon dioxide out. So some people feel that the most important thing or the beneficial thing about breathing during a massage or in just particular breath techniques is that the expelling of carbon dioxide, because we can only flood the body with so much oxygen. But it's the exhalation, the out-breath, that's getting the toxins out of the body. So when we get into breath work, explaining that a bit more and focusing on that, that's just a fun little fact. Now we're going to come up to the top of the table and I'll show you guys how you might do some work from up here. It's a really good place to do the same thing with just leaning your body weight and falling onto your patient. So again, you're going to set yourself up in this way where you're quite strong. You can have your left foot or your right foot forward, almost like you're trying to push your patient off the table. You can really be getting down low and pushing. What's going to be important here, and I could have mentioned this earlier, but no, big deal. Just make sure your table is at a good height. Right now, a good height for me is when I can swing my arm like this and it just sort of skims the top of the table. And I say now because my body's in a situation where it's quite comfortable. I often get back pain and stuff myself. That's where my whole journey with this started in teaching massage, is when I learnt this particular type of massage. It was so amazing to me at how beneficial it can be, and I'd had so many other treatments in my time that didn't address the issues or the areas of the body nearly well enough, and I experienced this type of massage and I was like, I just need to share this with people. So So I'm not gonna, you can see Leroy's breathing really well. Or maybe you can on the camera. You might be able to hear him through my mic as well. He's had massages from me, so he knows how to do that. We'll get into that in a moment. But for now, I just want you guys to be focusing on one simple thing, and that is doing nice, repetitive, big strokes. Here I'm going all the way down onto the sacrum. Yes, I'm using my thumbs, which I'm going to try and encourage you guys not to very often. So you can use your fingers. Your fingers are straight here. Don't try to make them too strong and don't put too much downward pressure onto you. Don't claw your fingers, they're straight. You're literally putting it right into this area of your fingers, if you can see that, and leaning like this. You really don't have to put much pressure into this, into your hands or forearms if you do this technique right. So if you're feeling pressure, then maybe try and adjust, because this should be very, very comfortable. So here, the upper traps. I'm scooping up underneath the trap, rubbing up over the top. You can do it one side at a time. When you do one side at a time, make sure this other arm is on the table so that it can take your body weight, so you can be falling and leaning more. So what you can do from this situation is either take off pressure and lean onto the arm that's supporting you, or put it more into the pressure, more into the hand that is the one putting pressure on the body. So here now I'm leaning more into my left hand to do this stroke over the traps, using the palm of my hand, rubbing over the trap. And then if I do it softly, I'm just leaning more body weight onto that other hand. So you can do that nice and softly afterwards. Make your strokes stronger and softer. You can change it up with this at any time with these techniques I'm showing you. Still, I'm using a broad surface area. So even if I do make it strong, it's not really that uncomfortable yet. It's great to see Leroy's got goosebumps here. You know, you often will get a nice release when you do the upper traps. People hold tension. We all know about how much tension we hold up in our shoulders. And it's really nice to see when people have goosebumps that you're releasing their stresses and tensions. So here again, my legs are down. Could be like I'm like this. I'm really kind of strong in my stance. And then I'm down on this. I really get that weight onto this hand before anything. You can see what my shoulder's doing here. And then I will transfer that weight. Well, another technique you can do here, which is if you're lacking the strength, if you feel like you want to make it stronger, or you don't have the strength, like I might have the control to have my hand out there. For some people that might be difficult. Then you can have your elbow against your side of your body here, and then you can move your hip and your whole side of your body up, and it's actually quite strong. So get comfortable with getting to know your body and how you can fall onto someone, how you can use your body weight, lever parts of your body like I just showed then. You know, there's times where I'll do things where I'm levering my elbow on my body to do a particular stroke so that I don't have to hold like this. Here I'm doing infraspinatus, and teres, and it's quite difficult if I'm back here to stay stable. Whereas if I've got it locked here, I can just drop my body weight onto it. So just now, when you're getting around the body, just get to know your body, because everyone's going to massage completely differently. So one thing I want to try that I should say right now is don't try to copy my techniques that I'm using here, because if you're way bigger than me and you've got way more weight, you might, if you do exactly what I'm doing, that might be really, really strong. So you're going to have to adjust that. If you're tiny, you might have to get in there a bit more, you know, and you might not be able to, you might be more efficient for you to use knuckles as opposed to a palm, because your weight is, you're so light, and you might, you know, just need to have a bit more of a sharper tool with less surface area so you can get into the muscle a little bit deeper. Adapt according to your body, and then according to the patient's tensions as well and how they respond. Right now, we're up here with Lee, shoulder traps, and he's a bit tender up here. I love doing this technique. Yeah, again, you could do this more like this, right? Such a waste of energy. So try not to just be stationary, moving your arms. I'm moving my hips and my body. It's like my legs move first, and then my upper body follows. So using your forearms at this point is also very effective in this kind of treatment. I'm going to, just for learning purposes sake, so don't use your tip of your elbow so much yet. I'm really teach people how to use their elbows and get super comfortable with them. But for now, just use your forearm. Okay, don't use the point. Use your forearm or the fleshy part of your forearm, because then you can go over the spinous processes, and you can even go directly over the shoulder blade and not make it bone on bone at any point in time. It's just good. It's just a good way to get you also learning how to use your body weight, because you can't do this. Right? Can't do this. Can't do that bad habit. To get up to the upper traps, I have to move my whole body through. So elbows and forearms is a good way to teach you how to move. All sorts of things you can do here. And if you use your fleshy part of your forearm at this tool here, you really can do everywhere. Apart from when you get up to the neck, I'm going to advise you guys at all times to not put downward pressure on the cervical spine. So as soon as you get up from about T1, the downward pressure should be directed over the traps. Try to avoid any pressure down onto the back of the neck past this point. And see, I go out to the side. I get up here, I go out to the side. And Lee's a bit tender up here. So here you can see it's a perfect example. I'm back, I went to my thumb. I put on much less pressure than I have been. But because of the sharp point, it got into an uncomfortable spot. It's fine. I'm not saying it's a negative, bad thing to do that. I'm just trying to show you guys how doing it this way with big surface areas and body weight, it's a really beautiful feeling massage. And we'll teach you how to keep moving around. Just do not stop. Get your fitness up a bit, get your strength up a bit, get your endurance up a bit, because you'll need it for when you're massaging. You know, massaging takes quite a lot of strength, gets you really fit. It helps me actually stay leaner. It's a really physical job, so this will get you you know, ready for being able to do this as a career or more of a regular thing if that's what you're wanting to do. So from this point also, we can get into working triceps, deltoids, shoulders. Fantastic spot to get the shoulders, and you can lean. It's very easy. Just lean. You can also do it again like we did before, leaning on one hand. Yeah, I'm using the palm of my hand. Now I'm using this part of my fist. First, you see me every time I get into this position before I start rubbing. And if you want to start to maybe experiment a little bit with how you could go deeper, then just do what I'm doing right here. Slow down. I'm still using quite a large surface area, but if you slow down,